After being selected as an alternate for a previous season of Big Break, Stefanie Kenoyer got the call for Big Break Mexico. And she didn't disappoint.
I thought to myself, oh, what did I just get myself into? Because this is a lot of pressure and I don't want to let my team down. Okay, boy.
So Stefanie breaks the glass, and that is a win for Team Olmec.
Displaying a rare combination of grit, grace, and determination, along with her golf skill, this charismatic contestant became one of the more feared competitors in the South of the Border series.
Hold on. The green just went from this big to this big.
Stefanie's tenacity carried her until she was summoned into the elimination cauldron by eventual runner-up Matthew Galloway.
Straight up, let the best man win, or woman.
It was there that her luck would run out.
Stop. Sit.
Oh no. Hold.
As soon as I saw the ball, I thought, well, I guess this is it.
It wasn't it for Stefanie's Big Break experience, however, as her performance earned her an invitation to Big Break NFL in Puerto Rico. And Miss Kenoyer had no idea of the ramifications that would result from her acceptance.
Stefanie, he played 17 years in the NFL and scored more than 1,500 points, making him the 17th all-time leading scorer, DelGreco.
How's everybody doing?
Teamed with DelGreco and Indian Wells alum Oren Geary, Stefanie dazzled in her second chance at a big break.
No, she did.
Stefanie.
Go in the hole.
Whoa.
Girl.
Stefanie at 3-1 has jumped into the lead ahead of Zakia.
To hit the shot that she hit, unbelievable. I was really damn excited.
Wow.
I call Stefanie 00 birdie. She's like one of those James Bond girls, you know. She's beautiful, extremely smart, sophisticated. But if you play golf against her, she's gonna do what it takes to take you down.
Good ball.
Good ball.
Team DelGreco got off to a hot start in Puerto Rico, thanks in large part to Stefanie. She could grip it and rip it.
She's outdriven everyone.
It was bombed.
And she could throw darts.
Spin left.
What a beauty.
Shut up.
And a girl.
Unfortunately, Stefanie's second big break also went unrealized, as her team was the first one permanently sacked from Big Break NFL.
Stay up.
She knows it's not going.
She missed it, and that's it.
However, that was only the beginning of her membership in a whole new iteration of Team DelGreco. The Big Break for 23 seasons. Spanning more than a decade, the groundbreaking series produced tour champions, Ryder and Solheim Cuppers, and of course, characters.
Hold that thing tight.
You lived their stories.
The Yankee Doodle went to town riding on my wedge.
Now, catch up with some of your all-time favorites as we present Big Break, Where Are They Now?
Well, Stefanie, it's great to see you. I mean, you're a veteran of Big Break. You were on two Big Breaks, Big Break Mexico and Big Break NFL. I want to start with Big Break Mexico and how that all came about for you.
It was just an incredible experience. All in all, it truly changed my life. I turned pro, and they were doing auditions out on the range at one of the now Epson Tour events. And I thought, okay, well, I'll give it a try. Why not? I put a lot of pressure on myself to perform and to perform quickly because I felt like I had had a pretty good college career and I was, going to come out and just take the world by storm. And that year that I was selected, I actually made it all the way to the final stage of LPGA Q School. And I will never forget, I missed getting my card by one shot. And I was devastated. The producer called me like a week later and said, hey, I know you're disappointed about not making it to the LPGA, but because of that, you've been selected to be on the next season of Big Break. And I just remember thinking like, wow, that's pretty cool how what was probably one of my most devastating moments of my career, missing by one shot, became this awesome opportunity to then opened the door for a really new and exciting experience.
So you get cast on Mexico, you go down there on Big Break Mexico, you get to the Iberostar Resort. What stands out from your time being on that show?
We got to do a challenge with Lorena Ochoa, and at the time, she was one of my heroes. So getting a chance to meet her, and I think we did a putting challenge on super 3-tiered green. That was a lot of fun. I had only been playing professionally for 2 years at that point. So I only had my singular view of what I was supposed to do. The thing I love about Big Break is it brought people from all different walks of life. It wasn't just all people who were in my same shoes. And that was the part that was so interesting to me, because you just get a new perspective in terms of what your life is like.
Did the show play out for you the way you thought it would?
Well, no, I thought I was going to win the whole thing. So clearly not. I definitely remember performing fairly well at the beginning, and I had pretty high hopes for moving on.
Oh, it's just run by.
Getting eliminated from Big Break Mexico was, again, kind of devastating. Like, man, I missed my scorecard by one shot, but this is now going to be my chance to get out on the LPGA. And then I didn't. And I think my whole life has just been a series of reframing those situations into like, what can I learn from it? But two, like, what positive is going to come out of this? Because in every situation that I thought was devastating, this positive experience has come out of it. And if I wasn't eliminated from Big Break Mexico, then I wouldn't have been chosen to be on Big Break NFL, because I would have already been a winner. So that's really one thing that I have tried to learn throughout my whole life, is just how can I use these experiences that seem to be a negative experience and turn them into something that I can use as a positive.
Then after that, what happened with the playing career for you?
I knew for me, I didn't always want to play professionally. I knew I wanted to play and use it as a way to travel around the world and meet lots of wonderful people, but it wasn't my lifelong goal forever. Once I met my husband and then decided that we wanted to settle down and have a family, for me, it became an easy choice. But the process from transitioning from playing to not playing was very difficult, because it was everything that I knew. And my whole identity was wrapped up in being a professional golfer at that point. I was offered actually a really awesome opportunity with Mallory Blackwelder coming out of my career. There was a program with the LPGA and the Air Force, and they partnered together and took kind of retired LPGA pros to different bases and allowed us to teach airmen all over the world. I think that year I traveled to Australia, New Zealand, London, Germany, Italy, Japan twice. So I got to go to all of these wonderful countries, but that opportunity really allowed me to kind of get all of that out of my system and realize that now home is where I want to be. So I got certified as an LPGA teaching professional and did a little bit of teaching for a few years at a club here in Central Florida. And then once I had my second son, Bradley, kind of took a break from that just so I could be home more, and then took a position with Fairway Management, which is a management company that plans golf events and things for PGA Tour players.
Is that what you're doing now, is it?
Yes, actually, Mallory had my job before, and her husband, Julian, was traveling a lot, and she wanted to be able to travel with him. So she called me one day. Big Break seriously is like interwoven into my whole life. Keeps me involved in golf enough. Like, I get to go to the PGA show. I get to be around players and their sponsors. But again, I get to spend the bulk of my time at home with the boys, which is really where I want to be.
And when you were teaching, did people recognize you from Big Break?
Yes, definitely. It was a lot of fun. I don't know that necessarily qualified me to be teaching them, but I think the thing that I learned the most was that I didn't know a whole lot about the military growing up. The sacrifice that those people are making to live on these bases all over the world and protect us was just amazing. And they're just down to earth people. Like, they just want to get to know you. They want to learn a little bit about you and your life. And if you can teach them a few extra skills on the golf course, even better.
Well, obviously, Big Break Mexico really stands out in your life and in your career, but it wasn't your only experience with Big Break.
No, it was not. We had a whole nother season that led to many different wonderful blessings in my life.
And we also have another guest joining us. So, Stefanie, tell us the connection here with Al and how this all came about.
Yeah, so Al and I down in Puerto Rico really hit it off. And about the third day after I met him, he told me that I was going to be his daughter-in-law one day. And I thought he was insane. And he'd constantly say, like, oh, I cannot wait to introduce you to my son. I guess it was about 4 months after I met Al in Puerto Rico. He had me come up to Birmingham to play a little golf and record a spot on his radio show. And conveniently, Trey was also invited to that golf tournament that we played. So we met there.
He was right, is what you're saying.
He was right. Yes, we have the first big break prearranged marriage.
Al, what was it about Stefanie that you thought, yeah, this is going to be a great match with my son?
You know, we spent so much time together, Stefanie, Orrin, and I. As each day went on, I was kind of like, wow, you got to be kidding me. She was competitive. She was very talented. She was very smart. She was very friendly. Just every single quality that you could think about. I just thought the personalities were very similar and would mesh. And it was just one of those things that I think was a God thing. And Big Break set that whole thing up.
And Trey, obviously, when you go on Big Break, you sign a waiver that you won't say what happened. So your dad obviously said nothing about the fact that he'd played with Stefanie. So when did you get a sense that there was somebody waiting in the wings potentially for you?
Well, I will say when he got back, I expected to be his first phone call because I always had the dream of playing in Big Break. You know, I played in college and played competitively. I think we were probably on the phone for 30 seconds before he brought her name up. He did not want to talk about Big Break at all. He was like, yeah, that was cool. I got to tell you about this girl, Stefanie. And I thought he was crazy. I was like, what are you talking about? Tell me about the show. Like, was it cool? How was the production? How did you do? Yeah, it was awesome. It was great experience, but you got to meet this girl, Stefanie.
So Stefanie, you knew that you thought this was the guy right away, or were you like, I don't know, let's give it some time?
One thing that really blew me away was just, I am so incredibly family oriented. With my family, we're very close, and being around Al and his kids and his whole family, it felt like I was right at home. Like everyone already felt like they knew me from watching the show, and I just jumped right in, and I felt like I was a part of his family already. I went home after spending those 3 days, and I called my best childhood friend and was like, you are not going to believe this, but I'm going to marry this guy. 9 months after that, he proposed.
Oh, wow. And Al, when you look back at your experience on Big Break, aside from Stefanie, what stands out for you?
I mean, I was a huge fan of the show. And when they called and said, look, we're doing an NFL version and we'd love to have you be a part of it. I mean, I was ready to jump out of the phone right then. And I just, you know, Tom, you got to kind of play it cool. So I was kind of like, well, let me check my schedule and make sure that that'll work out. And I knew Tim Brown a little bit, had never met Chris Dolman before. Mark Bolger had never met. Mark Rippon I knew very well from the celebrity events we had played in before. You know, just kind of hanging out with those guys in a little bit different kind of format was great. And then, of course, meeting all the other contestants on top of that and listening and learning about their desires and dreams and hopes and what they were trying to chase. Had a great time. And, you know, as we all know, we were the first team eliminated. And I would have bet everything I own, Tom, not that we would have won, but we wouldn't have been the first team eliminated. I still believe that in my heart today. And Stefanie still teases me about this. I had a 93-yard wedge shot in one of the eliminations, and I remember telling her, oh, that's my perfect yardage. So I absolutely laid the sod right over the top of it, and that was the beginning of our demise. We were in the wrong place at the wrong time, 2 times, and we were gone. I don't know if you noticed, but when I named all the players, the NFL players that were playing, I left out Jerry Rice. I'm still mad at Jerry because he won our competition and he beat me. Love him to death, but he actually took home the title and we did not, and that still bothers me.
Because golf has been a pretty big part of your life, Al. I mean, you obviously had 17 years in in the NFL. But then since your NFL career, you've really been involved in the game.
Yeah, I played mini tour for about a year and a half when I retired. And then, you know, I got into coaching high school golf shortly after that and was, you know, won 3 state championships, had 3 individual state champions, which Trey was one of. And then now I'm at Samford, and I've been doing this for 9 years, and golf has provided me so many different opportunities in my life, both good and bad, to be honest with you. It's always been my first love. And when football season ended, when I was playing, the first thing I could think of when we were eliminated or we weren't going to the playoffs was, where am I going to play golf tomorrow? And again, being able to say that I was a part of the big break is something that I'll keep with me the rest of my life.
So how old are the boys, and do they understand the situation of not only their mom and dad, but maybe their granddad as well?
So they're only 2 and 5 right now. The 5-year-old, he definitely understands that mommy and daddy play a lot of golf and that we, you know, used to be good. The other day we were at the golf course watching them putt.
Oh, yeah.
And I just looked around and I sent Al a text and was like, can you believe that this is what this led to? Like, I seriously catch myself all the time. Like, this is where my life went from that opportunity. People used to joke that Big Break creates this family, but not only did it create our family, but it created a whole extended family for us that we feel like we have all over the world. And it's really incredible.
Well, guys, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you. It's a wonderful story of Big Break, and I wish you all the best, not only in your golf careers, but in your coaching career and with the family as well. Thanks, guys.